Welcome to the Power of Purpose. I'm Anton NM, and we know that all things works together for good, for bad, for good, for ugly. Whatever you have been through will work together somehow to bring you to the alignment of your purpose and your greatness in life. Now, today I have a special guest. Some people wonder in time, are there some people born with a silver spoon in their mouth? Maybe the sun shines brighter for others, and maybe for others it's a little bit dim. Is it the same sunrise we have from the east and to the west? Or do others, their sun rises from the south to the north? The reality is, all of us have been given 24 hours. All of us have been given an opportunity. And all of us were born with a gift, with a purpose, and for a reason of being on planet Earth, regardless of your present predicament, regardless of your present disability. All of us, as people say, disability is not inability. You can always do something. If you look out through the window of hope and faith, there is a voice calling for your greatness. Today I have a special guest with me, Sesilia Nekwaya, if I'm pronouncing it right. And we're going to hear an amazing, inspiring story. How are you, ma'am?
I'm awesome, thank you.
Let's talk about your childhood development.
Okay.
Which town were you born and which location?
Okay.
Let's start from there.
Okay, I was born in a village. It's called Okandongwena. It's in the northern part of Namibia, just a few distance or kilometers from Ndangwa. And I'm a twin. And my twin sister and I were separated at birth. It was all because of cultural beliefs, because my mom and dad were not together, and it was twins, and they considered it a burden for one family, so they had to split the two. And then I stayed with my paternal grandmother, and I loved her so much. She's late now. And I stayed with her until I think I was around about 4, and then she decided these kids can't go to school here when their father is working in Windhoek. They need to go to Windhoek also and just experience the life, because the village life, the school here, she was very strong on us getting exposed. So I went to Windhoek, and then my sister joined us. And then a few weeks later, or few months down the line, I was at school one day, and then I saw the night before, and I have a gift of visions.
Okay.
So the night before, I was a bit, I won't say a bit emotional, I was crying the whole day, the Sunday. Yeah. And my mom didn't understand. And first she was feeling sorry for me, and the more she felt sorry for me, the more I cried. But I just kept seeing my sister and I, like, very sorrowful. Like, that's the vision that I had in my mind. And I was crying. And then my mom said, hey, if you're going to continue crying for no reason, I'm going to beat you and give you a reason so that you can cry. And then I stopped crying, and then the next day we went to school, and then I saw my uncle, my dad's cousin. So I rushed up to him. Oh, Uncle Ruben. And then he said, oh yeah, good, where's your sister? And then we went to look for my sister, and then he spoke to the principal, and then we started walking out of the school. Then he said, oh yeah, your dad is late. He passed on today. And then my sister and I just normally when you tell somebody is dead, people cry. So we were crying. We cried, and then we went to tell my mom, and then we went to pick up my little sister from school, and then that process started, and then we went to the north, buried my dad, came back, and then lived with my mom and my stepdad. And then, there were a few issues in the community. My brother used to threaten my mom that he's not going to come visit if she lives in that ghetto. And my mom really loved my brother. And so my sisters my big sister and my older brother would, not really want to come visit and stuff because they were under pressure. School people used to laugh at them. And even my mom's sisters would say, no, I'll come visit you, but I'm not sleeping over because, Yeah. So then I think one day my mom just decided to buy a house in Umbili then. Okay. So she bought a house, and then the day that we were moving, or that week that we were moving, my stepfather got shot, like by his best friend. He got shot. And then we moved now to Umbili, and then continued school because we were still there.
But you're not going a lot of traumas. Suddenly you're still young, your father dies, and then your mother buys a house, and then you're moving, your stepfather gets shot. Yeah. How were you reacting around all those activities?
Okay, being a child, Okay, my dad died and I would miss him sometimes, but not as much as. Okay, I was my daddy's little girl. And every time he came around, he would sneak me out in the morning, like if he's going to the service station, and then he'll buy me snacks. Then he'll tell me, you must eat it up, finish before we get back home.
You moving into teenagehood, you are in the city, in Windhoek, and you see other girls when they reach teenage years and they come from a better family and they're exposed to things, and here you are not having what they have. How was it growing up teenage years?
I didn't grow up with stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So I wasn't used to having things, and I was okay because I didn't know what it's like to have stuff.
You grow up and then suddenly you begin to be in a relationship. And then in your book, as you write it, teenage pregnancy happens. Tell me about it.
Well, so I grew up in church, right? So, because like Ombili, Jesus Center is right here. So we grew up in church, and there's the word of God, and then there's, how you should live as a child of God. You're not allowed to, with dating, there was a controversy there because it's like you're allowed to date, but you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to do certain things in this relationship. So that's how I grew up in high school. And then I get to university, and when I was in high school, I had this your boyfriend, your normal, funny ones, this. And then I get to university, and I was dating a much older guy, like when I got to that stage.
But why did you decide to date a much older guy?
Okay, I was at the time I was in the entertainment industry. I was dancing. I was a backup dancer while I was in high school.
Oh, you have been a dancer, so.
Yes. So first I used to backup dancing gospel, and then I went to Equipped, and then I started dancing for Gaza.
Oh, okay.
So in that space, you meet people, his friends, and so forth. So I met this guy, and it was different.
So for gospel, you used to dance for
Dinaf.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Gaza.
Yeah, to Equipped Dance Academy. Yeah, so there you do small gigs here and there, movie shorts, and then we auditioned for Gaza, and then I started dancing for Gaza like for a certain period of time. Yeah. So that was the bridge between varsity. So now you can imagine that coming from a background of church and Dinaf was very protective over me, like over most of us.
Yeah, because
we were very, So we would go out, but it's very strict. Even like because my mom was very straight with him. This girl loves dancing, and I'm hearing stuff about shows, and so she was a bit scared. But
it was
then
like a brother who trying to
and he made it very clear that look, she loves dancing, so you can stop her from dancing for me, and then because she loves dancing, she's going to dance for some scavenger out there who won't necessarily protect her the way that
and take
I
advantage
do.
of her.
Exactly. So now I go to varsity, or before I go to varsity, that December holiday before the results came out, the matric results, I was dancing for Gaza. And then nobody cares about you. Like, nobody is looking after, no sister. It's like dog eat dog world, Yeah. So I met a guy there, and he was much older, I think 7 years or 6 years older than me. And then after the show, we started talking. Yeah, take me out for movies and these things that I've not been to before.
You have not been exposed. Did you come from?
Yes, yeah. So then my results come right out, and I go straight to university. And going into university, I had a bursary, so I had my own place and my freedom and my space. And then I was just like, wow, like hi to my dreams.
Just there. Some people say more freedom is more problems.
Yeah, it's only more problems if you don't have a foundation. Because mind you, I was the head girl of my school. I was on the junior city council. I was on the children's parliament. So I've been to a lot of this write down your papers, things, goals for your life, those things. I've been exposed to those.
Great.
So in the second year of varsity, that's when I fell pregnant. And then that's when we got married. And then that's when he had to leave the country. And that's when we broke up.
So 20 years old, you get pregnant, and then you get married. Why a rush?
Because, also from the perspective of why wait? For what? I mean, we're together now, and I'm a big girl, I'm in university. Okay, there's this cultural thing that when you get to varsity, especially in the society or where I come from, you're big. Falling pregnant also like really drove the urgency for the marriage. Because
yeah.
I'm just like, I, Sesilia Nekwaya,
I can't have a child out of marriage.
who used to talk about teenage pregnancies at school and all of these things, and church,
Yeah.
can't be going around pregnant and I'm not married.
Right.
And it's not like the guy doesn't want to marry me,
Mommy.
and it's not like we didn't plan for the baby. It's not like it's a mistake, you must marry me.
Okay. Sure. This is amazing. You get into, you're pregnant, and you tell him I'm pregnant, and you say, let's get married. And then you begin to plan your marriage. You went to your parents and begin to tell them we're getting married.
Yeah. So what happened was, we spoke about the marriage in passing, and then we tried to have a baby and it wasn't coming. And then one day, like, I was pregnant and he was excited, and we're like, we're gonna tell my mom. And then we told my mom, and she was just like, huh? She was a bit confused. And I know my mother. She was probably wondering. And then he was just like, yeah, no, but it's not a problem because I'm going to marry her. And she was like, oh yeah, perhaps that, you know. And then we started planning to get married, and then also even faster because he was leaving the country like a few months.
Okay, he has to travel.
Yeah, he had to leave the country for 4 years. So we're like, he's like, look, I'm not gonna leave you here pregnant with a child without, you know,
Finalizing the
I
marriage
need
part.
to, so that I can be able to take care of you and the child and whatever. Don't worry, we'll have a small magistrate wedding, but when I'm done, you would have graduated also at the time. Then we'll have a
We'll make it
proper
a big
wedding.
one.
Yeah.
Now, you marry the man, your child. The following year, what began to happen that leads to divorce?
We got married when I was 4 months pregnant, and then we broke up per se, not really break. You know this.
The quarrels,
Yes,
the
yes.
conflict in the
6
relationship.
months, and he was that side, and yeah, it was just strenuous. It was like tension, and I'm like, okay, I'm in this situation, and then I remember God. I'm just like, so punishment now. So I see what you're doing here. I see you're trying to punish me for forsaking the faith and for, And then again, there's that thing where, like, I've never felt closer to God than I did when I was there in that situation. Then I started feeling really, really closer to God. And then I told myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to have this baby and then focus on, I remember, like, I even went to, like, Legal Shield, and at that time I got a lawyer, and he was very supportive. Okay. So with his money that he's sending me for the baby, the rest I'm paying a lawyer so that I also get ready.
So
and then
you were started planning for divorce before it comes.
Yeah. So that I'm prepared most. And
why
my friends,
were you thinking of the divorce before the guy comes?
because we broke up. Like there was somebody else in the picture, and there was a lot going on.
Somebody else, for you, for him?
For him, he was in a relationship.
On
also.
the other side?
Yes, at the time. So he started a relationship, and then there's us, and then there was a lot of uncertainty. So I got a lawyer. Okay. And then I'm like, I'm going to just deal with the baby. When I'm done, I'm going to sue these people. And then one day I wake up, I'm like, sue who for what? You know, just let it go. Yeah. And then I went to Legal Shield, I cancelled the lawyer, and then I had the baby. He came, and then the baby was here, and then he stayed a while, then he left. And then that thing continued where it's like he's in a relationship, we are married, and then the other person also falls pregnant. And then, it was chaotic. You know, you walk in the street every day, and it's like the whole world knows. It was so embarrassing. It was just so, you know, you can't have a normal conversation like, okay, no, I need this, or without reading it in that tone of, I need this and that. You get, even from my side. Yeah. There was just so much tension.
So much tension.
And then I think before the baby was born on their side, I think that's when the divorce happened, because the divorce happened the next year towards the end. That's
How
when
did the divorce happen? Did he calm down, or? Yeah,
he started the process, and then he just said, no, and by the way, I've started the divorce. I'm like, okay, just give me custody for the child, you know. And then I just started to prepare myself because I'm just like, look, I can't change. So I just started to prepare myself for that. And I was back in school. When I fell pregnant and when I got married, like I cancelled my studies and because I had a lot of complications and whatnot.
Yes.
And then so I now, and I think what hurt more or what made it worse was the fact that I had a future.
You are looking
Yes,
forward to
I had a future before I met this person. And then I meet this person and then we plan a future.
Yeah,
and
it
then
becomes part of the future.
he
you're
becomes
saying.
part of the future. And then now he leaves. But before he left, he made sure that I cancelled my studies and I cancelled my bursary. And then he leaves. Whatever comes, if the bursary doesn't take you back, I'll pay for your school fees and whatnot.
So he gives you a lot of hopes.
Yeah. So then I cancel and then he leaves. So now I'm back at my mother's house. I have a baby and one day I'm like, hello. Wait, how did we get here?
Yes.
Because now the way it looked from where I was sitting, it looked like I was just going to become the average girl that drops out of school, has a baby, and now I'm at home. And what didn't sink in well for me or sit well with me was the fact that I had a future, but I wasn't that person. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I felt played. Like I was like, how? Because there was no way that I would have done it any other way. Like if we weren't getting married or if it wasn't, for him, I would not intentionally just say, oh, I want to have a life. I'm going to cancel my studies, so I'm going to put everything on hold.
Of course.
And he needed really to convince me to do that also. So now that's done and then he leaves. At the beginning of the year, I pray, I'm like, Lord, I know I messed up and whatnot, but please, if you give me a second chance at this school thing and just reliving my life, I'll do so much better. And then I wrote to my bursary and then I wrote them like, a long speech about how, I messed up. I know I messed up, but I learned. And then they responded and then they said, okay, what, Cecilia, we believe you've learned a lot from your experience and we are willing to give you a second chance. And if you're ready to go back to school, let us know. If you need more time, or still, let us know. I said, what, I'm going back to school now. So I went to school, registered. So when the divorce process started, I was conflicted also. Like, I'm at a place where, I want to fight and I want, to have the dream that I was talking about with my growing up in a single mother headed home and then bringing a child in that situation and then having an opportunity to fight for the marriage and, fight for the picture. And also just dealing with mathematics at school, dealing with coming home, that balance, rushing home to go feed the baby because the nanny's not well, that exams. And so I said, okay, it's fine. Just give me custody over the child, then you can have the divorce. I didn't. That's why it was annulled. It was an annulment. It wasn't like your divorce. We didn't go to court and.
So you basically got married, but you never sat in a house.
Yeah. So exactly. So then that happened, and then I just went to school, continued with school, just on the hustle.
Wow, so many things, and then you get to climb the mountain of success again.
Yeah.
So you go through the school and then finally you finish, you graduate.
Yeah,
How did it feel like?
In that year before I graduated, like I used to apply for internships, I used to apply for small jobs, and also in that process I also got to learn that I'm such a go-getter. Like I had the spirit of a go-getter, so I had to apply for jobs and stuff and I didn't get. And then towards the end of the year, I prayed and I needed to make a decision.
Okay, that is a success part. I don't want to, before we go to the success,
Okay.
there is a young person listening right now. You got this guy, child, marriage, divorce. That space of time, what is the greatest lesson? I know you put it in the book, but tell me, child, marriage, divorce, 21 years old, from 19 to 21, the 2 to 3 years, many things happen that are astonishing.
Yeah.
What is the greatest lesson in that moment?
Sure. Okay,
That today, if I don't know now, if you're gonna look forward to be in a relationship, to get married again and have that family dream that you think of, but that being the foundation of some great lessons, what are some of the lessons in that specific time?
Okay, for me, like number one greatest lesson is to not make a decision based on the current feeling, because that's what we young people
Current feeling.
young people, like we make a decision based on how I feel now and what I have now. Then you make a permanent decision based on that.
On a temporal feeling.
On the temporary
and
feeling.
feelings are chemistry that changes.
It's like, and when you're growing up, you have different feelings, you know. There's a stage where you are like on top of the world in love, and all you see is love.
Yes.
And a lot of us, and when I started writing articles before I wrote the book, a lot of people were reaching out to me, and I realized their stories were so much similar. No, I'm with this person, and we have a baby, and da, da, da. And he left, and I realized that there's a stage where we all we are stirred up in love, and we just want, especially if you have that kind of background where you probably don't have
mother and father.
Yes. So it comes to a maximum point where you just want to be in love, and you make
because you want that vacuum to be filled.
And I'm always telling people, I'm like, that person is probably not the one. No, they are the one. I'm just like, you don't know that, because they're still sitting in that place. So that's the number one lesson. Don't make a permanent decision based on a temporary feeling. Number two, the lesson that I learned is that, and this is not to say that my ex-husband is a bad person or he's not a wonderful person. He's a wonderful person. I'm a wonderful person. But I'm just like, I didn't know him, and I didn't know myself enough to say, okay, this is the person that, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. There was nothing.
There wasn't enough self-discovery in him.
For me, like that's why I always say this in most of the interviews that I've had. I said he left then, but it could have been me that left 20 years later when I realized, oh no, like I'm not achieving, I'm not living, I'm here, but I got here then when I wasn't this person. So you find yourself first. That's the second lesson. Okay. Find yourself, know yourself, and then you will be able to know. Even now, like in conversations with people, I'm able to pick up like, okay, this person I'll place here, this one I'll place there based on the conversations and the relations that we are having. But it's because I'm sitting at a place of knowing what I want, knowing where I'm going and stuff. But before that I was going and then I wanted to come and know. So that's the number 2 lesson. And really the number 3 lesson, the ultimate lesson is you can't blame people for where you are in life. Yes, people contribute. You know, people come, they hurt us, they lie to us, but you can't be sitting now there in that place forever and just saying, I'm the person that I am today because people left, people lied, people, you know. At some point in your life, you need to come to that point in where you realize the reason why I entertained this person was because there was something in me that was lacking or that was wrong, that was driving me to this attraction. So that in itself is a responsibility you need to take. You need to take responsibility for the fact that this person came, yes, they lied, yes, but a part of you allowed it, and that part is the one that you need to deal with. And the moment you deal with that, you'll be good. So take responsibility for the part that you played or that led you to that place. And this is different in case of physical abuse, and you know when somebody is molested at a young age and they didn't have a choice, that is different. But I'm talking about in our adult lives,
where
when
you make
a choice. You make a choice to date this person, then you want to go and say, oh, he's the worst guy in the whole world. What made you date the worst guy? That's what you should deal with. That part of you that made you date the worst. Or that made you not to see the worst in the guy.
So don't make choices on a temporal feeling. Feelings are chemistry, they can change at any time. And don't make decision based on
a temporary feeling, and then take responsibility. Yes, for that thing that led you there.
Don't blame people.
And then don't blame people. And then the second one was find out, know yourself first.
Discover yourself.
Discover yourself first before you go there, and then you will know.
These are lessons you have learned.
Yes.
Somehow may have your similar background, and they're in a curve, and they have become comfortable by saying, yes, we're just here. And they're comfortable with discomfort in the sense that where they are, it's not a comfortable place, but they have just made a choice, like maybe God made me to be here. What would be the words would you say?
Okay, the Bible says that the desires of the righteous shall be granted, and God will give us the desires of our hearts, you know. So if you don't desire it, you cannot have it. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So if you're sitting in a place where you are comfortable and you are probably blaming, or you have settled and you are now just, it's the situation. If you do not in you desire to be anything other than that, if you're going to dwell on the current situation and that's just your space and we must all feel sorry for you, we will feel sorry for you, and that is where you will remain. But if you desire greatness, if you desire, because that's what happened to me. I was at a point in my life where I was just like, I'm not going to be this person, like, no, like, yeah, so I just continuously desired to be something, and then I made up my mind that I'm going to become that, and then I prayed, and then I just trusted God that I am going to get out of the situation. There was always hope at the end of the tunnel. That hope, that's what brought me out.
So, two elements that you're giving out. Desire and hope. You must have a concrete desire and you must hope for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Sesilia Nekwaya, an amazing author. You need to get this book, The Process. There is a promise for you, but there's a process you're going through. It may be painful. There may be rejection. There may be abandonment on the way. Many things gonna happen, but stick to the plan. There is a greater future for you. There is the best that you could be. Life is not yet over. So you may get this book, The Process, be encouraged. Try to understand her story. The valleys and the mountains she has to climb to become the best that she could be. And to inspire you to become the best that you could be. The power of knowing your purpose and knowing there's a destiny for you. All things works together. They're going to line up and to make you the best that you could be. Until then, thank you very much. Sesilia, I have no words. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's amazing to sit under the greatness and be inspired.